Right now you can see...
Wish you could live in it.
Oh, we should talk about this.
Yeah, why not?
Concrete slab everywhere. I've seen my slab. I know I got a good one.
Can you say that on the podcast?
Yeah.
Welcome in once again to our Mike and Mike's Off-Air podcast with Mike Pesto.
And Mike O'Neill right here, too.
And I got to take off the glasses and look at you. Yes, you.
Hi.
Because you're taking the time to actually watch this as well on our YouTube channel or online at my975fm.com. Really appreciate that. If you like and follow us on YouTube, click the bell for alerts, all that fun stuff. Whenever we drop a new video or any content there, you'll get it before anybody else. So, woohoo!
Yep.
So how's Sean doing?
It is time for a Valley Fever update. I'm pleased to say that Sean is doing as we had anticipated, as we were told that he would. He now has 3 specialists on board, a pulmonologist,
Okay.
a heart doctor, actually, because as I mentioned last week, what we found with this is it comes with an elevated sedentary heart rate. And so he's on a medication that came out in 2020 with COVID when that was part of it as well.
Okay.
And that keeps his heart rate under 100 because it can go 100, 120.
Yeah, you said
and it's just sitting there.
Jeez.
So that's working, and he's getting the breathing treatments, but needs them less. Hasn't been on oxygen for more than a week.
And hasn't been to the hospital again?
Not even close.
Oh, good.
Not even close.
Good.
No, we have the right tools, toys, and medications to continue this at home, and I can see where slowly but surely he is on the way. He's definitely more like the old Sean, and it's really, really, really good to see.
Good.
So thanks for asking, my friend.
Speaking of home, I know you've been going through some stuff at the homestead as far as new flooring going in.
I have seen the slab with my own eyes because that's all there is right now. Half of our furniture, I mean, there are things in the garage I never thought would be in the garage right now. I mean, we've got both of our washer, dryers, 3/4 of the furniture. I mean, they're in a car to be found in that garage. Just everything we normally sit on, live on, and do everything else in. But that, thank God for that. But it's going very well. It's nice to know. I mean, I got to see the whole slab, nary a crack except for one small little thing. They put like liquid concrete over that. So
Better use duct tape?
no, thank you.
Okay.
Duct tape.
I don't know. I'm not a
Can't fix
contractor.
it with duct tape, Mike.
I thought you could fix it. Ask MacGyver. You can use duct tape for everything.
Well, we're on the way today. The guy who sold it to us, who's a good friend, and he called us up today and said, yesterday and the day before were prep days, Mike. You're going to see progress like you won't believe starting today. So
Now, was it a matter of replacing hardwood tile laminate, or was it areas that had carpet before you're going with harder flooring?
we're making big changes. The house was built in 2003.
Okay,
and
not that old.
There was carpet everywhere, including the dining room.
I figured to say the bathroom.
No, that would.
Not that, I've never seen that, but I would
no.
imagine maybe.
What's that smell? Well, we know. No, but even in the dining room, no. So all the carpet came up, every last bit. And now the house
Yeah.
is live because there's nothing to suck the sound up. I know with even just the tile going down, it'll cut that down by at least a full third.
Okay.
Colleen's already picked out. She's been rug shopping for about a month and a half now.
Okay.
We're getting a big area rug that will go down, which I still think is ironic. Okay, we're going to pay like $10,000 for new flooring that's beautiful that we picked out. It's a beautiful pattern.
Cover it up.
And then we're going to cover it up with a rug that costs about an eighth as much. I'll take what the hell for $200, Alex. No, but that will dampen it.
I get it,
obviously.
though. I mean,
I do too. There is clinical irony to it.
Are you getting the runners to go down hallways as well?
Absolutely.
We've been looking for one for the longest time. Like, you've been to our house. As you go in the entryway, we would love one there.
Yep.
And then going down the hallway to the left where the kids' bedrooms are and the guest bathroom is, that's a pretty decently long hallway, and it's fairly narrow. It's a matter of finding one that has those dimensions or close enough that, okay, because, again, I kind of feel the same way. I don't want to cover up too much in some areas, but a nice accent rug, if you will. It adds a nice touch to a room.
It really does. Plus, it does dampen it. and nobody wants to live in a gymnasium. So it's good. But I'm used to not having carpet because the house we were in before this one was a new build, and we put 20 by 20 foot Italian tile in that house.
Oh, wow.
Want to hear a good homeowner story?
Sure.
It was an Ennis home back when, because my kids are going through ESCO right now. It's not the same. What we did when we bought that house way back when is you went into the Ennis showroom and they showed you everything. Would you like to upgrade your cabinets? Would you like to upgrade the tile? Would you like to upgrade? And of course, being new homeowners, we were dumb and yes, yes, and yes. Why is the house payment so big now? But no, the point of this is we picked out an upgrade from what was on the floors, and it was a tile of some kind, or I can't remember, laminate, whatever it was. And when it came in, the guy called us up and he said, "Oh my God, Mike, I'm so pissed." He literally said this. And I go, "Why? What's wrong, man? What's wrong?" He goes, "Your tile just arrived. It's all in. Every single piece is warped. I'm so mad at these guys. Here's what I'm going to do, and they're going to pay for it. You come in here, you pick anything," and Mike, I mean anything in the showroom, "and we will put it in the house."
Okay.
Colleen and I went in, fell in love with these beautiful 20 by 20 Italian tiles. And Mike, we lived in that house for 4 or 5 years, and I fell in love with my floor every single night that I came home. It was like, oh, God, they're gorgeous. And good to see you, honey. How was your day? But anyway, I just thought you'd appreciate that. We just lucked out.
Now, you're able to stay in the house while all this is going on, though.
Yeah, but it's anything but comfortable, I'll tell you
okay.
that. And I'm going to have to get used to cold floors again because I know it won't be concrete, but it's not going to be warm carpet. That I'm going to miss. I'm not going to miss everything, all the allergens and all the crazy that can get stuck in carpet, but I will miss the soft and I will miss the warm. But, God made slippers on the 8th day, and I'll be fine.
That's what we do. We've talked about, and at some point maybe we'll have an area rug in our bedroom. But at this point, it's just the hardwood floor. I've got my slippers right there. So I slip off and then into bed. And first thing in the morning, before the feet hit the floor, it's like, okay, and the slippers are right there. Whoop, slip right into them.
Sounds like a plan. I got to pick mine out, though. I've got some Uggs.
Okay.
I got my eye on, and we'll see.
Yeah, the easier they go on and off, at least for the ones that you get in and out of bed with, the better.
I wonder if Skechers makes them because they're always bragging about how no hands. Anyway, we'll see.
All right, so we talked about this briefly when this first came out. Jesus, a couple weeks or so ago now. I have the list. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Nice.
Foundation have announced their list of 2025 performer nominees. So not everybody on this list will get in. We did this last year.
Which means almost for sure there'll be someone on there or a group on there that'll be like, "You're making this up, right? Are you serious?" So I can't wait. I honestly have only kind of in passing heard it. I'm familiar with a couple of them. So this will be good to get right into it.
All right, so I'm assuming the first two, at least the first one, you're going to be all about.
Let's hear.
Bad Company.
Of course.
It's like, why aren't they in at this
When
point?
the hell? Yeah, why did it take this long? Paul Rogers was amazing, and I mean, his biggest hit wasn't even in Bad Company. One of their biggest hits.
Which one was that?
All right now.
Oh, that wasn't Bad Company?
That
was
Free.
Oh, okay.
The band was Free, and but anyway, come on, he's a lead singer, and the band just had such a sound. That's a big yes.
All right, so Bad Company, I think we both agree yes on that one. Here's one. I'm curious where you stand on this one. The Black Crowes.
I love the Black Crowes, even though they apparently don't love each other. But I thought they were fantastic. I was a young program director at a rock station when their first 3 records came out. And we had a consultant. And I know what we both think of radio consultants.
Well, you might be surprised. Maybe that's a subject for another podcast.
Well, at least this consultant anyway.
Okay.
When each of the first 3 releases from the Black Crowes came, he didn't hear it. He didn't get it. He didn't want us to add them. I added every one because they all went huge. You could hear this band 500 miles away. How good, how rock, how cool, and everybody loved them, obviously. And I mean, if Too Hard to Handle comes on, you can't not sing it. But I think the thing is, they didn't have a giant catalog, not like Bad Company. Multiple crazy good albums full of stuff. They've had probably 4 or 5 songs that most people can go, oh yeah, I know that.
So
one.
with that in mind, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame worthy for the Black Crowes, yes or no? Okay, you're on admission. Only 4 or 5 songs most people have heard of.
You know what? I'm gonna have to make that a maybe.
Okay. See, I would maybe not quite.
Yeah, they're
the
not
same.
a Hall of Famer. They're not a Hall of Fame.
I
band.
wouldn't think so.
They're not
either.
a Hall of Fame band.
I think of them, and granted, they've been around a little bit longer, but I would put them almost in the same category as a Creed.
You need a catalog, man.
So, like Creed has 2 or 3 songs. Higher is the big one, and that was a huge hit. But above and beyond that, maybe if you're lucky, you could name another song or 2 from them. But
Well, you got to say, if they're going to be at the Mid-State Fair, and are they going to play for an hour and a half? Is every song going to be, oh my God, I love this song?
yeah, I didn't know that was them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't. Yeah, I'm.
Yeah, there
I
you go.
lean a little bit more towards no with Black Crowes than you, because for
Probably
you
too.
to maybe. But
I'm probably going to have to
okay.
agree with you.
I'm going in order of
You
if you
drug
go
me
to
over.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's website. So I'm going to skip number 3 just for the time being. We'll circle back to it. Here's another one. I don't know why he is not in at this point. Chubby Checker
Wow.
is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I get it, but if you use the same exact criteria, Chubby's got 3
Yeah.
songs, but it's not always just about that. He was there at the cusp. He was there when it was happening. He is part of the inception of rock and roll, and that matters too.
And
so I'm going to go yes.
How much of him did other performers after him emulate, and how influential was what he did? I would say not so much the hits, but that aspect of what he meant to music. I also agree he should be in.
Like Chuck Berry's lick that you hear. I mean, who hasn't played that? But Chuck incepted it. That was his thing. That was the beginning of rock and roll.
Here's another one we may disagree on. Joe Cocker.
Maybe I'm going to have to, maybe yes, because, I mean, he was there at Woodstock, and Woodstock was legendary for rock and roll. He has a couple of songs, and they weren't even really his to start with. His version of the Beatles song is the best version that there is. Little with a little
More
help
so
from my
than the
friends.
Beatles?
For different reasons. There's
Wow.
such passion in that. I
Okay.
mean, they're both incredible. I mean, Ringo's low-key read on that is great, but Joe's straight over the top into just almost gospel heaven read of that tune is pretty legendary in it as well.
Now, the song that he did that was the theme for...
Up where we belong.
Oh, no,
Not
the
that one?
TV series. I can't remember the name of it.
Me neither.
A Little Help from My Friends. So that's the one you're talking about. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that. See, I have him as a maybe no. So again, leaning more towards he can't sing. Couldn't sing. He's no longer with us, I believe. You Are So Beautiful, which we play on My 97.5. I keep on wanting to pass him a lozenge. I mean, poor guy, but someone tell him to gargle or something, or go on vocal rest before you go into the recording studio.
That was just his sound.
I guess. Okay. Here's one, and I actually saw, and I think it was because he was nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, just released a new song. He's going to be on the road with Joan Jett this year. Billy Idol.
No.
Yeah, I say no as well.
No, I love Billy. He's a lot of fun. He was awesome in The Wedding Singer. He's a lot of fun wherever he is, but that's what he is. He's a lot of fun wherever he is. And most people can name probably 4 or 5 songs.
Yeah, if that. And the new song, which if you scroll down on our Facebook page, you can find it. It sounds like an amalgamation of the 3 or 4 hits that he had all put together as one song. It's almost like a best of in one song. if there's a way to do that, he did it.
Here's my greatest hit, sort of. No, it's
Now, here's one you may disagree with, but I'm 100% on board with this. Joy Division, New Order. And if you know why they're put together,
I don't
you
know
why
Michael.
they're put together. So,
I don't know, Michael. I can think of 2 songs, maybe 3.
Their
'Cause-
album Substance, which is a double LP, and some of it was reworked songs that they did, like True Faith and Blue Monday.
Yep, those
And,
are the 2 I remember.
There are, for a while, I was huge into them. Saw them with PIL and the Sugar Cubes at, where was it? Mountain View, Shoreline Amphitheater. And I always joked because PIL had the stage presence. Just what they did on stage and everything they did. Songs, Sugar Cubes, the songs were great and everything was just sounded phenomenal. New Order was the headliner because of all the hits that they had had. And then if you tie in everything that happened before Ian Curtis, I think his name was, the lead singer from Joy Division before he committed suicide, those 2 bands together, again, with the one difference of the lead singer, I have them in there because of, again, how, not only the hits that they had, but how influential they were with that sound and taking music, whether you love it or not, and synthesizing it as much as they did. In fact, one of their videos, which was directed by Jonathan Demme, who directed Silence of the Lambs. He did a lot of music videos when he first started becoming a director. It literally just shows them in a studio turning knobs. And you hear all this phenomenal music, but it's all done by computers. And Depeche Mode has done that a lot. And a few other.
That's what I was going to say. I had a question for you there.
Yeah.
Is Depeche Mode in?
I would have to check. I would be surprised if they're not for that same reason. And they've been around long enough that they could have been in at this point. I'll have to look.
Because they had roughly the same amount of hits. 2, 3, 4.
Oh, no. They had
top 40 hits. I was on the air at the time. They only had a couple of 2 or 3 top 40 hits.
If you go back to, you know what? I'm going to grab my phone because I'll mention, they're one of those groups, I think, if you were to see them in concert or hear some of their catalog, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's theirs. Oh, yeah, that's theirs. Oh, yeah, that's theirs. So with New Order, let me start back with New Order. So New Order, because I have, let's see. So from Substance, there was Shell Shock. Maybe you don't, and that's the thing with New Order, the titles of their songs sometimes aren't even in the lyrics. So it's True Faith, which you know, Bizarre Love Triangle, State of the Nation, Shell Shock, Perfect Kiss, Thieves Like Us, Confusion, Blue Monday. I guarantee those are all songs you've heard, but
3 of them I can recall.
The titles are a little confusing because of, again, they just kind of, that's just the way things were with them. Let's see, Round and Round was another song from them that was a little bit later. There's Ruined in a Day. Again, they're a little odd. Now, Depeche Mode, on the other hand, let me pull them up on my phone here. And again, you're loving this if you're watching because you're seeing me do all this. Especially off of, what was it there? Was it Some Great Reward. Master and Servant, Blasphemous Rumors, People Are People, Somebody, what was the other one? Music for the Masses. That was the one that really launched them to the stratosphere. Never Let Me Down Again, Little 15, Behind the Wheel, and they did a remix with that. They also combined it with Route 66. Little 15, Strange Love. Let's see, what was their one huge hit, which actually came out after that album. Hold on.
I just found the evidence I need.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, I'm looking here. You go there.
Very
Personal Jesus.
Okay, what I'm looking at is...
Johnny Cash covered Personal Jesus.
Johnny Cash covered everything.
Towards the end, yeah.
And that last record, what, Johnny, good Lord, you were even good then. But I'm looking at this. on the U.S. chart, nothing higher than 32. And almost nothing charted, with the exception of, well, a lot of things charted. 5 was Confusion, which I don't get that at all.
Okay, so that's New Order.
Yeah. And also This Perfect Kiss.
Uh-huh.
Number 4 was State of the Nation. 3, True Faith, which I remember all of those. Number 1, by the way.
See, so a few
Touched by
more
the Hand
than
of
what
God.
you what you remember.
So, yeah, and there's 3 number 1s. So, okay, I guess so maybe then. Okay, then I have infinitely more respect than I did a moment ago. So I'm glad I looked. So
See,
I'll give it a yes.
And
then.
now your homework assignment is to do the same thing with Depeche Mode, and I will do a homework assignment to see if they're actually in or not.
And actually,
I'm not sure.
Well, actually, that's why I picked them, because they were an equitable thing.
Correct.
I was doing high school dances back in the day, and both of those bands were the guys that were dancing like this, as opposed to the folks that were into R&B and threw down in a completely different way.
And talk about influential. I found this out about Depeche Mode. Again, I'll do my homework to find out if they're in or not. When, I forget which album it was. It was the album, I'll have to look up this as well, but there was an album that came out, ZZ Top heard it. And ZZ Top's music and Depeche Mode's music, they couldn't be any farther apart.
Right.
But they saw fans' reaction to it, and they realized this is at least an approach to music we need to embrace. So they actually met the guys backstage and talked with them at one point. And Legs, in particular, they took some production cues from Depeche Mode in putting that particular song together, and a little bit of that sound from that entire album.
Well, it definitely had a more electronic sound than
Yes.
anything they'd done before ZZ.
All right, so that's Joy Division, New Order. I'm going to skip the next one. Here's one I've not heard of, and maybe you have. Mana, M-A-N-A, and then the little whoosh over the A.
Yeah, aren't they? Weren't they a Hispanic boy band?
Okay.
And I haven't heard of them. I know they had a hit
Okay.
that I was familiar with for a minute. That I mean, they've had way more than that for folks that speak Spanish. But if I'm thinking of the right band, I think we played one because we couldn't not because it was boy bandy. But
Okay.
that's my only memory of them.
All right, how about this one? This is a hard no for me. I don't know enough about Mana to even comment honestly. Oasis. That's a hard no for me.
No, they
they've
don't-
got one song
A couple
I
of
can
songs.
think of.
A couple of songs,
and
maybe.
That's
a political ad.
For me, it's more so they wanted to be, and at one point thought they were, at least in how they presented themselves, as the biggest band in the world.
No.
Keep in mind, this was when U2 was doing what U2 was doing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Please.
No, they had any success at all because of MTV at the time. They got a lot of MTV play.
Here's one that, again, based on how influential they were with other acts that had the same type of sound, Outkast. Again, not a ton of hits, but
No. I can think of two.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they've had way more.
yeah,
But most of us, at a wedding, the one, God, I play it at every wedding. I can't think of the name right now. You know, na 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 na.
Yeah.
The ladies. You know.
yeah, that's.
And the other one, Miss Jackson. Those two I know for sure.
If you had a club band Hall of Fame, sure.
And
Here-
then again, is it the Rock and Roll Hall
And
of Fame?
we will get to that because we always do. We did last time.
I'm
we had
putting
this
that in that
conversation.
category.
Here's one I couldn't name a single song of theirs. I don't think they've ever charted, but I believe they belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Fish.
That's a different band, my friend.
That's why.
That's a band like the Dead. Although
Exactly.
the Dead did have top 40 hits.
Actually, no.
Ironic, Touch of Grey.
Touch of Grey was their only number one
But they did have
ever.
hits.
They had a handful of other songs that charted, and I don't think Fish has ever had a number one, but the following and the sound and what they have done for, especially for live music.
They were what you call a jam band. They were out there just to play. And the folks that loved their music the same way and with the same passion that folks that followed the Dead did. They knew every note, every lick. Gosh, is he going to play the solo this way or like he did when it first came out?
Yeah.
And they just knew that stuff about all of those songs.
So
I don't know if it's an R&R Hall of Famer.
Yeah, not for me. It's a whole other criteria for them.
It's the rock and roll. They could be in the Rock and Roll Live Hall of Fame.
Okay.
You know?
Soundgarden.
2 songs, man. 3 songs, maybe.
And at some point,
they were good and influential, and I know a lot of folks.
I was going to say
a lot of folks
that.
said they were influenced by their sound.
But how influential were they, or how influenced were they by Nirvana?
Yeah, they were a piece of the 90s.
Yeah, and that's you almost have to defer to other groups that sounded similar to them and ask them honestly. Was Soundgarden influential as far as you're concerned, or were they influenced by the sound of the Seattle sound that came out at the time?
I pick A.
I kind of lean in that same direction. Here's one I think it's eventually, but not quite yet for me, White Stripes.
White Stripes.
And Jack White in particular, but Jack White I don't think has been doing solo stuff long enough yet. Maybe that's it. Jack White will get in at some point, but White Stripes, the duo,
That band is another one of those bands that their fans love them to death, and they love them live. And again, they haven't had, they haven't had a giant catalog of hits. But I don't know that that's the necessary criteria either. I'm not that familiar with them, to be honest.
What Jack has done in recent years, and that's why I'm saying years from now, when he, as a solo artist, is eligible, I think, without a doubt, the production value of what he has done and how it is taken by other artists and run with it, especially the distortion on guitar riffs in particular, and what he does is like, is that a guitar? That is a guitar. You have to listen closely and hear.
He does different stuff.
And even lyrically, the stuff that he does is just incredible. I know Jennifer Grant is a huge fan of his and of them. All right, so the 2 that I want to double back to, Mariah Carey and Cyndi Lauper. And here's our conversation about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, we'll start with that. That will begin with Mariah, clearly. Because Cyndi crossed over to top 40. Well, she was top 40.
And Mariah was as well, because top 40 became all cover. Keep in mind, you listen to the charts sometimes, you have a Metallica song next to a Nickelback song next to an NSYNC song.
But Mariah was unarguably at least pop, if not R&B.
Correct.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the name of the Tom Tom Club song that was Dream Lover. You know, I mean that ding, 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 that lick that she legally borrowed, and but that was pure R&B, pure dance club, and all the rest of it. I mean, you can't argue her 4-octave range. She's got it. Ariana Grande has it. Not many people have it, but I don't know if it's rock and roll. That's all I'm saying. It's known the world over.
Now,
she
knowing
owns Christmas, she owns
that Whitney Houston, again, I will have to do some homework. I believe Whitney Houston is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. With that in mind, is that enough for you to say, okay, well, if Whitney's in, then sure, Mariah Carey belongs in there as well?
Maybe because she's got a catalog.
Yeah.
She has a catalog. She's popular.
Is there a Christmas Music Hall of Fame?
Yeah, she owns that bad boy with one song. But yeah, again, it's, people embrace him. But again, it comes down to are we talking rock and roll or pop / R&B / okay.
So based on the catalog, you say yes, but based on the genre, you're
maybe not
on the fence.
Because it's rock and roll is rock and roll.
Now, how about Cyndi Lauper? Again, a little bit more, as you said, pop.
Pure pop.
But again, not rock and roll.
No.
So,
and again, I love Cyndi, but time after time, girls just want to have fun. Quick, what's the third one?
The one from the Goonies.
Okay, what's the fourth one?
Now, see, now you're moving the goalposts on me.
That's what I'm saying, but that's the point.
She-Bop. There's another one. There.
Okay,
there. Fourth?
Okay, so she's
No, not give me a fifth one.
I'm pretty sure we're done. But she's probably done other music. But the point is, the Rolling Stones have 20, 30 albums. I mean, a lot of the bands that are Rock and Roll Hall of Famers have huge catalogs. Bob Dylan, these artists that have huge catalogs. Eric Clapton. I can think of 5 hits.
Now, for artists like a Cyndi Lauper and maybe more so a Mariah Carey. and I think
Mariah has a lot of hits, though.
when we talk about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I think I suggested this last time. I think you had a suggestion as well, and I can't remember what it was. Changing it to the American Music Hall of Fame and have a rock wing, have an R&B wing, have a hip hop wing, have a classical wing.
Well, it would make it. I think it would make it less divisional. And God knows we have enough of that in this country now already, in terms of the bipolar nature of the.